Hello, good afternoon. Hi, Nina. Welcome. Welcome to this afternoon's live stream where we will be doing some writing sprints or productivity sprints or whatever you want to do. Um, I do hear like an emergency like siren sound like in the background. You probably can't hear it, but if you do, that's what it is, and it's on my end. Anyway, how is everyone today? What are your current? What are you going to be working on this afternoon? I have not decided yet, but that is something I want to figure out in our first sprint, which is going to be 15 minutes, starting in probably like 5 minutes. That's how it normally goes here. Um, if you're new to this stream or new to this channel or watching the replay, hello, welcome. We are doing a 15-minute sprint, a 25-minute sprint, and then a 35-minute sprint. And the fourth sprint will be random, and we'll see how that goes at the end of this live stream. Hello, Steeg. Hello, Essie. Nice to see you guys. So tell me what you guys are working on today. Like I said, I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of in a very busy week, such that I might need to work on some more homework before I can get any more writing done, just to have that like settle in my mind. But we'll see. I'll decide what I'm working on during the first sprint. Might be Seaside related, might be Project Faye related. I just gotta think about it. Nina is outlining a new book, working on character profiles and mood boards right now. Well, tell me about the book. Like, I want to know genre and age category and vibes, if you have that yet. Slash, how long does it take? This is a general question for the whole room, but how long does it take from having an idea to, oh, I actually want to outline this, to, oh, you know what, I wrote the outline, I'm gonna freaking write the thing now? Because I find like it takes different amounts of time to let an idea sit in my mind, and I want to know like what you guys' timelines are like. Essie needs to do boring adult things before we can get words on the historical fantasy novel. Honestly, same. So my adult things are kind of like kid adult things, and by that I'm like homework. But anyway, Stick would be beta reading. Wonder whose manuscript that is. And then just regular reading, which is all good. Lots of reading. For those out of the loop, Stig is currently beta reading my first chapter of Project Seaside that I've been working on. I had a little tiny little crisis about it in the past week, and I think that it's come with a lot of just pressure I put on myself to like make the book really good, but also clear within a certain time. Like, you know, just self-imposed deadlines can be add unnecessary pressure on my life. So I've decided to release myself for now, the clearing pressure, and just focus on the book itself, which is probably a good thing to do, like to focus on the actual book instead of the querying of the book, you know? Yeah. Yes, I actually do know about Grayson's bookmark. It's weird that we have like the same name. Yeah, I do know them. I know them quite personally. Nina is working on a YA contemporary coming of age about grief, mental health, and finding oneself through friendship. There are 2 POV characters, and there's romance, but not between the point of view characters. You had me, and then like you lost me, but like not in that way. Let me explain. Like, you were naming things that are very like Project Seaside, and the only thing it's not like Seaside is that the POV characters do not have romance. But that is, I still like, I like this idea. I didn't mean to like say you lost me. But coming of age about grief, mental health, and finding oneself through friendship. and 2 POV characters is very much in line with Seaside. So that's cool. Hi, Kimberly. Is this your first time being here on my stream? I think it is, but hi. The romance isn't the main focus. It's so okay. So this is also different from Seaside. Seaside is very much. Okay, it has subplots, but like the main plot is like the building of the romance. If that makes sense. Yes, it is Kimberly's first time. Well, hello. Nice to have you here. We will be doing 4 sprints, like I said in the description. The first sprint will be 15 minutes, and that will be coming up shortly. I'm going to figure out what the heck I'm going to do, whether that's Seaside or some homework or something else. Then we will have a 25, a 35, and then a random sprint determined by, a method that you only get to know if you watch till the end, / you've seen these streams before. So yeah, that is what we are doing. Nina, so you watch my Seaside videos and you're like, this is so similar in vibe to your book. Well, it's okay, Nina. Like that's like a wonderful thing as well, that like just like little seeds of an idea can like spread or like sprout in different writers' minds at different times, but they can like grow into completely different plants or ideas or trees, whatever metaphor you want to use. And I just think it's so neat. And if you ever want someone to beta read your book, if it gets to that point, I'm down for it because I'm in the market for that kind of story, and I like writing that. So yeah, let me pull up my timer. I was a good streamer today, and I prepared my timer beforehand. So this will be quite efficient. But as a reminder, for those of you who are new or just need a little refresher, the timer ending sound I use is birdsong. I'm also checking the volume here. Okay, that doesn't seem too loud today. If it is loud on your end, I suggest lowering the volume on your computer. But yes, the bird sound is the one that you will hear in 15 minutes from now. Everybody's got this. Let's start writing in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, friends, that is the end of our first sprint. Let me make me big again. Hi, Katie. I noticed Katie joined us during that sprint. So how was that for you all? I hope the bird sound did not alarm you too much. I also had to turn on the air conditioning because it is 76 degrees in this room. But hopefully it'll be like 74 by the time the stream's done. So, a little more tolerable. So during that sprint, I had some applesauce. I kind of like I settled myself about Seaside. I am working on incorporating some feedback into the first chapter into the actual Scrivener document, so it feels more real and concrete. Yes. Hello. Oh, I think I forgot how to say this name. Hello, Vlandus. I think that's how I say it. Nice to have you here. I'm working on incorporating some feedback into chapter 1, and also during the next sprint, I'm going to actually eat something for lunch because I realized I did not do that today, and I should eat, and you should eat if you haven't eaten today yet. But we will have our second sprint soon. Let me change that banner. So yeah, what did you guys do during that sprint? Next for Seaside, I'm going to update chapter 2 in the manuscript, and then I think I'm going to send chapters 1, 2, and 3 to another beta reader just to get, test the waters a third time. That's what I'm doing. I've had so many things to do this week. I was really juggling way too much. But I'm glad I'm taking the time during this stream to kind of recalibrate, reprioritize, just like refocus my energy towards Seaside and continue working on that in a productive way and not a stressful way. Nina did some character profile work. Nicole went to the store, put some cash in the car, then got a package from the post office. Nice. I got caught up because I was thinking about if I have any packages that should be coming. I think I do, but I think they're all just like in the process of being shipped and not here yet. You use Fiverr for betas? Yeah, I know I can find them on Fiverr. I just was also relying on the goodwill of people in the Discord server to beta read. Yeah, I could get a professional beta reader. I don't know. It just feels like I feel like beta readers should be like people if you're in like a late stage of your work. Maybe that's a hot take, but I feel like people who like are willing to like I guess what I need more right now is like kind of more like a critique partner, and that's why I don't think I would buy someone's services on Fiverr right now. In the past, the way I've gotten beta readers is through an organization that I'm a part of called the Young Writers Initiative, and because I am young, like under 25, and also a volunteer for that organization, I got access to their beta reading services quicker than like the general public. So that's the way I got Seaside beta read in the past. I did that twice. So I had something like 10 readers read my book in the process of like drafting it, and now is like technically like the third round of beta reading that I'm doing. Yeah, main changes I've realized need to happen. They're not like huge, like nothing big is happening to the plot that I know of. Maybe that will change after I get beta reader feedback, but the voice needs to be aged up a little bit, like in the beginning chapters. And I noticed this because I kept in the very beginning chapters, what I did was I focused on actions, because there's like a procedure that's happening in like the first chapter. It's like Luca is out and about, he's selling bread, he is going to someone's door, he is meeting the love interest, he is going back to his home, he's seeing his dad. Like all of those things are happening in the first chapter, and I was focused on like being as quick as possible into the story, but like it also lost like that connection that the reader needs to make to the character, and therefore it reads younger, like more of like a middle grade story, which is what I need to fix. I think the story has a good structure and good introduction. It's just like reads young because there's just no like thinking and reflections that a teenager might make. So that is what I'm currently working on. I think I definitely do have that kind of voice later in the book. I just skipped out on it in the beginning chapters. So I was like, gotta go, gotta get into it as soon as possible. And that was a mistake on my part, but not an unfixable one. So that's what I'm working on today and have been working on for the past week. This was my, the source, the reason for my mini crisis about Cisa that I was talking about earlier. Kimberly just wants people to look at the story as a whole and not want to pick apart other aspects. Just want to hear other viewpoints of the story as a whole and see the holes. Yeah, I do have, yeah, I have differing opinions about this. Sometimes it is good to have like little nitpicky, like these are the things you need to fix. But otherwise, I think it is helpful to get just like vibes, comments, like what is your general opinion about the story. But sometimes like you want people to do more than just correct your grammar, because I find if people correct grammar or like try to correct like me inserting voice into my manuscript, that just bugs me, because I'm like, what you don't like is what makes my book my book. You know what I mean? Yes, we're all learning and growing as writers. That is what I'm trying to accept it as a part of the writing process, learning process, and not as like a shortcoming. It's a learning experience. Hello, RK. I think you have another name that I think you go by another name when you're. I was gonna say when you're out and about, but I mean like I think you have a different name you'd like to be called. If you wouldn't mind reminding me of that, I would appreciate it. Nina has a problem that the characters are so different at the start and the end. Oh, but not. Oh, hold on. Not in a good way. Like you get to know them throughout the draft and become their own person. Do you mean like the character growth is too strong, such that like, the character you wrote at the beginning of the book is not the character at the end of the book? Is that what you mean? Oh yes. Okay. So this is what you mean. Like they're similar at the start. To the draft, you find their voice. I wonder if you're like a. No, you know what? I do relate to this. Like, especially with my early drafts of Seaside, the two point of view characters were virtually indistinguishable from each other. And the way I fixed this was I literally have a document that says, okay, Luca uses these words when he's speaking, thinking, feeling, having like interactions in the world. Julian uses these words, and like I kept them separate. Like they are not allowed to use the same, like, I guess not catchphrases, but like I gave them like different thinking patterns as well. Like Luca would start his thoughts with maybe pretty. Hold on. Luca would start his thoughts with maybe pretty often, and Julian might start it with how would or how could. Julian also uses more metaphors, less similes. Luca uses more similes. I'm sorry if I'm like like opening the hood of like how I write my books, but like this is one of the ways that I know how to definitely make voices different from each other, and it's to literally like reverse engineer it in this way. And so I have like style guides for like each of the characters, and I try to like formulate their thoughts very differently so they sound different. Like that's just my 2 cents about that. Yes, I thought it was Rachel. Like it was just there at the back of my mind. But hello, Rachel. Kimberly's had someone who read through and they're picking apart voice. I know. Like to me, I'm like, okay, I get you don't like it. You don't like questions just hanging in the prose, and then you fixed it. But you didn't need to fix that because like let's agree to disagree. Um, uh, yes, I think this is a comment to my like voice comment. Um, so in Nina's Vienna fantasy story, so this is not your current thing you're outlining. It's the one before that. 2 POV characters have grown so much throughout draft 1 and 2. Loving. Oh, I'm glad you love them even more now. That's nice. But like, yeah, I think finding voice has been one of the things that I had to structure for myself in this way in the beginning. I feel like trying to write a dual POV. Okay, let me back up. The very first book I ever tried to write is not Seaside. It was one I wrote in high school, and it had upwards of 7 point of view characters. I think at most it had 11, and they were just like casual chapters every so now and then, but the main characters were like 3. It was like Rosemary, Abby, and Rudy were like the 3 main point of view characters, but like the book would also flit around to different things, and it was no one's voices were different. Like I can't believe I tried writing that when I was in high school because it's a dumpster fire. But so anyway, like I thought in my head that I was scaling back by like trying to write Seaside with 2 point of views. It technically has 3, but like I can talk about that later. But like it has two main characters. I was like, oh, I'm scaling back. This will be so easy. But like there was so much growth I had to learn from trying to write, like how to actually make characters sound different. They don't just sound different because you put their POV name at the beginning of the chapter. They have to actually sound different, and that was like a huge learning curve for me. Like I don't think the voices of my characters really showed up until 3rd, 4th, 5th drafts. Then I was like able to really like dig in there and make sure they were different. I'm currently writing Project Faye, which is like a 1 POV character book, and that voice I'm finding is easy. You know why? Because I don't have to like differentiate it from everyone, and the voice that comes out is the voice. Does that make sense? Like I don't even need to think about voice. I just write what I think should happen because that is her. It's so much easier. I don't know. Man, I was just so ambitious when I was younger and when I perceived I need some water. Perceived Seaside. Technically, there's a 3rd perspective in Seaside. Her name is Alice, and she is tied to Luca in some way that is revealed in the manuscript. But like she gets 6 chapters out of 52, so like she's very like sporadic but very important. But her voice is not. I never had a trouble differentiating her from Luca and Julian because she's just very differently internally motivated, and she's angry. Like she's an angry character, but with good reason. So she was very easy for me to separate from the 2 boys. Anyway, I'm gonna give it to your comments now. Nina's voice is difficult, and the Vienna Fantasy. If Vienna Fantasy is 3rd person, the new one is 1st person, and you're struggling much more already than you have in Yoni's art drafting. Have you considered the importance of the 1st person? Because I had a thought about writing Project Faye in 1st person, and then I tried for like 5 sentences and it did not sound good. Maybe that's because like I'm not used to it, but also like I don't know. It just depends on the type of story you want to tell. If first person feels natural, then do it. But you're saying you're already struggling, so I don't know. Like voice is tricky. Voice and like point of view is hard to like get right. But I find that if you are struggling, you should write it in the voice that is the easiest for you to write it in. I think the book I tried to write in high school, it was in first person, but with 11 characters, like that's immensely difficult. And I think it actually would have benefited if I had tried to rewrite it in third person. Um, yeah. When I was creating my main character, he had a demon spirit that he could only see. He was challenged to find their voices and keeping them different. Yeah. Especially if, like, I lost my thought there. Maybe it'll come back. We're gonna try first person and see. You might change it to third and see if it's you actually draft. Yeah, I feel like you'll know when you start drafting if what is right or not. I gave some thought to writing Project Faye in third person present actually, and then I tried writing it and I was like, this doesn't feel right. So I just switched to third person past, and that's what it's in now. You also made 2 separate plays for your characters. I hope that does help you write it, especially if you're doing dual POV. Um, Maybe you can listen to them while you're writing each chapter. Okay, friends, I think it is time for a second sprint. I think I've been talking for quite some time, but let me go ahead and update the timer. We're gonna have 25 minutes of productivity, writing, whatever you need to get done. Yes, and remember that the bird song will play at the end. So yeah, let's get it started. Let's have another sprint. In 3, 2, 1. Happy writing. Sorry, that timer did go a little late. I was right in the thick of it. I was right in the middle of typing. I just had an idea for a line, and I had to quickly write that down, but I am back. So I am now working on chapter 3. So I got through chapter 2, my little voicey edits, and you know what? I'm realizing that the voice is there. The voice is there in the later chapters, and it really was just like the first impression that was leaving me wanting for voice and leaving readers wanting for voice. And it's both reassuring me, and I'm also like, Grayson, why did you do that? The first 2 chapters, they're fine. The rest of the book's fine, and you can't ruin your first impression. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm kind of like paranoid that my manuscript doesn't have voice anymore, just because the first chapters kind of fell flat. But I'm working on it. I made it better. Anyway, what did you guys do during that sprint? Like I said, I was working on chapter 3. I'm about like a third of the way through it at the moment. In the meantime, oh, never mind. Nicole's already. You guys have already answered. That's great. Okay. Nita made another mood board, finished one character profile, and started another one. That's great. I'm going to assume the mood board and the second character profile are linked. Can you give me little hints about the vibes for your characters? I'd love to know. Nicole read a few pages of Chain of Gold. Is this the Cassandra Clare book after? I don't know which order it is, but I know there's Chain of Thorns, Chain of Iron. I'm assuming Chain of Gold is in that series. Kimberly used photo editing today, but will write this weekend. That's great. What are you editing? Are you editing your own? Is that your job? Are you a photographer? Do you take photos for a living, or it doesn't have to be for a living. It can just be something you do. But let me know. Also, during that sprint, I availed myself, or I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I made great use of Word Hippo. If nobody knows what this website is, it is a synonym finder, and I used it 3 times during that sprint. It was very helpful. Rachel ate lunch and then played on the phone. You want to have an afternoon? Wait, is it brain? Hold on. I'm trying to think about, is a brain nap different from a regular nap? Because if you mean shut your brain off during looking at your phone, I totally get that. Okay, so the series is Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, Chain of Thorns. It's the first book in the Last Hours trilogy. Cassandra Clare is so prolific. She just writes a storm, and I hope it's enjoyable for you. It seems like you have lots of. It's the first book in the series, so you have lots of pages to look forward to. So Kimberly is a photographer and an author. Oh, but your photography business funds your books. Wow. That's so nice. I love that. Lena Neo is starting part 3. Also, hello. Starting part 3 of her story, Heart of Darkness, and did 1 page and a little bit of page 2. Ooh, Heart of Darkness sounds very moody, perhaps a little paranormal. Nina made a mood board for the love interest of one of the characters, Ella. He's very optimistic. Oh, you said their characters are Kit and Ella. So I'm assuming Kit. Wait, no. You said they weren't in love. You said some other characters. Anyway, this other character is very optimistic and romantic, and his vibe is Sunflower, which is Ella works at a flower shop. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. His vibe is Sunflower. Does this mean you have he's a sunshine character? That's really cute. So Ella works at a flower shop, and Kit works at a bookstore, and Henry, the love interest, works at his parents' cafe. Oh my god, is this and they all 3 become friends, and they all work at different like small businesses. Like that's great. I really love that idea. I can kind of picture it. Is your book set by the sea at all, like on an island, Nina? Because I'm translating my image of those characters onto my book, and I can see them. Like, there's a market street in Seaside, and there's a market street with a bunch of like small family-owned shops. Like, there's flower shops and bookstores and art galleries and coffee shops and like a bike repair shop. Yeah, there's like also like the beach souvenir stores. There's all those are on Market Street. Unfortunately, we don't get to see all of those shops in Seaside, but you know, it's just there for flavor, for texture. Um, the supermarket is also on that street. Um, yeah, there's. I'm trying to think about how many stores they go in. I know Luca and Julian, they go into supermarket and a coffee shop that's called Seaside Bakery, because if you didn't know, the name of my book is not really Seaside. That's just the name of like the project title. So I still put the name Seaside in Seaside. It's just like a little nod to like the project name. But it's not called Seaside, just so you know. Um, uh, you might not ever know the real actual name of the book, because A, it might change, or B, it might never be like published. So like, there's that. But you know, hoping I have thought of some other alternate titles recently for Seaside, and so I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be very careful not to say the name, but I'll tell you the acronym. It's AOAL, and that's not going to make any like phrases in your mind. That's the acronym for Seaside. It was a title that I came up with in 2020, and I've stuck with it ever since. But it's an intriguing title, but it's not like a commercial title. So I feel like I've since brainstormed some more commercial titles, and those are like they sound better in the commercial sense, but I don't know if they sound better in the unique sense. So I do have, I don't know, opinions, options for um, names, but I think I'm going to query it as the AOAL acronym, but like with the actual words in it. Yeah. One of the words is lighthouse. So that's what the L is for. But I'm not going to give you anything else. You're not getting anything else from me, not today. Man, I need to write this down for myself so I don't forget. But I want to make a querying process video. Specifically about my method for researching agents and my method for querying, because I feel like that would be helpful. So like method for researching agents, query strategy. If you guys have any more like querying topics that you might want to see included in that video, I can do that. But like I'm planning on making a video about how I check and see if an agent is good and like what makes me decide whether or not I'm going to add them to my querying spreadsheet. Also about how, like, what my strategy is for sending out queries. My original goal was to query like before 2022 was over, but like that didn't happen. And then it was before like beginning of the year, and now it's not really the beginning of the year, and it still didn't happen. And I guess my current goal is like query before my birthday, which is like March 1st, and I don't know if that's gonna happen either. So right now it's just like a Q1 goal of the year, which means it has to be done by March 31st, which, you know, might be enough time. Maybe that's enough. But yeah, that's where I'm at with querying right now. For Nina's titles are hard. Either you have the perfect title right away, or it takes me so long. I also I feel this, but I also feel that if I don't have a title, and especially if I don't have names, like I need names and I need a title, at least a working title for the book to feel like it's a thing. Like right now, I don't have much. I have connection to the outline and the story of Project Fae, but I don't have connection to the actual story because it doesn't have like a formal title other than Project Fae. And that like irks me just a little bit because I would like to have one. I would like to feel really connected to the story. Um, this is even stronger of a thing I have with character names. So like if my characters aren't named, I literally cannot write them. I can't imagine them. I can't imagine how they talk, act, or what their motivations are. Like they need a name, maybe not a face to begin with, but they need a name or else they're not real. Um, so like my main character for Project Fae, her name is Myra, and that her name came first, and then I had some other ones. I kind of just like trickled in, but the main one that was really hard for me to get was the Fae love interest name. Fae love interest. That's all I'm willing to say about him. But he's integral to the plot. Okay. Sorry, I have just like 4 things I want to tell you about this, but I'm just going to limit it to like one thing. And basically, it took me like 2 weeks to think of a good name for him, and I could not even imagine how he fit into the plot until he had a name, but I did finally name him. His name is Garen, which is interesting. I like the name, so please don't come at me. Nina needs names in a working title. Can't do like I know, right? Like here's what I'll do. In every single fantasy book I've tried to write, which has now been 2, I do have town name brackets because I can't do it. But I need characters at least. I can do like brackets for like places because I know they'll come later. But if I don't have character names, I can't write it. Lady Neo has some examples that show versatility. You struggle with detail a lot, whether to add more or less. Yeah, yeah. I think a good rule of thumb is when you're gonna add detail. Do you want the part of the book to be read quickly or slowly? Like focus on like what pacing you want to achieve in this scene, because like if you're in like a very um, deep emotional moment, you're probably gonna want to sit and rest in that emotion for a while, maybe use longer descriptions or more details. But if you're like if characters are moving from place to place, or they are just like things are happening in quick succession, like maybe it's a fight scene or whatever, use less detail and more shorter sentences, and then that will lead the pacing quicker through the scene. So that's what I try to do. When I'm describing something new, I will use more detail. But when a character is moving, or if I need to get the plot moving along, I'll use less detail. Anyway, I'm going to start our third sprint, my friends. It's going to be 35 minutes. Oh man, I forgot to eat during that sprint. Okay, I promise I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna go make myself some tomato hummus toast with everything bagel seasoning. That's what I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna actually do it during this sprint. I got so excited about writing that I didn't even eat. Where's my head today? But anyway, the hunger has returned, and I need to actually eat this time. So, anyway, friends, I will see you in 35 minutes. Have a lovely third sprint, and I will see you in 3, 2, 1. Happy writing. All right, that is the third sprint. I noticed Rachel had to leave us. Thank you for being here while you were. She's probably gone now. But yeah, thanks for joining, Rachel. SC is back from adulting. Great, love to hear it. What were you guys up to during that sprint? I'm going to change my banner and then try to remember what oh yeah, I had like 3 pieces of hummus, tomato, everything bagel seasoning toast. It's very tasty. If you haven't had that before, I would highly recommend it. It's just like it's savory and salty and like feels a little healthy because of the tomato on it. But yeah, that's what I did, and then I wrote for around 15 minutes. Still working on chapter 3. I feel better about my story now that I'm reading it again, and I'll definitely send over what I have to a beta reader today. I'm feeling less self-conscious about it the more I am getting into the draft because the voice does improve the further on I get. I don't know, I'm just learning that it's a difficult balance to strike between leaving the reader in suspense, in curiosity, versus giving them enough to be interested in. In the chapter 1, before I sent it off to beta readers recently, like I said earlier, lacked some voice, and I feel like it also lacked some foreshadowing and interest. So I added some more like specks of mystery in the first chapter, and I'm adding more of it in chapter 3 just to like keep the reader engaged. And I think I'm doing a good job with that. I just don't want to say too much, so it's difficult to figure out that balance. Nina finished the last character profile and the mood board. Fantastic. I'm gonna have to go now to get ready for bed. Oh, I did not know that you were in like a European time zone. You're welcome for the sprints though. Have a good night. Yeah, good night. Later, you did good and got a page and a half done. Very good. Yeah. I say yeah a lot, but that's okay. It just means I have more things to say and need a moment to think about it. So our 4th sprint, friends, is decided with a randomization method. But I'll get to what Nicole says because Nicole called it. Nicole finished breakfast and is now drinking 1 cup of coffee for the day. It's weird that like you're having breakfast while Nina's go to sleep. And I'm in the middle of the day just having lunch. It's a weird world we live in with time zones. But anyway, like I was saying, friends, we have a 4th sprint to decide. And my method for deciding our sprint length is with a random card pull. We pull 4 cards from one deck. I own about 10 decks of cards. Recently, we've done the Studio Ghibli deck, and we've done, I think, just a regular deck of cards last time, but we've also done Gardens and Flowers last week. That was very nice. I think today I'm going to pick... I'm actually going to pick my... where's my Lighthouse one? I have... That one feels appropriate. Oh, it's all the way at the bottom. Don't drop it. Oh my god. I have a Cape Hatteras National Seashore thing, and it's got a lighthouse photo in it. So I want to use that. I'll put my decks of cards just like here on the desk so I can deal with that later. Because if I thought getting it down was hard, getting it up is also going to be hard. Get your mind out of the gutter. So, friends, like I was saying, the sprint is decided with a random card pull. We're going to pull 4 cards. This sprint could be anywhere from 4 minutes, meaning I pull all aces, to 52 minutes, which means I pull 4 kings, which is an undesirable outcome. But if that is what comes for us, that be what it may. Like, we're doing it. That's just the way it goes. And these cards are like, I want to say they're like East Coast beach cards, is what they are. Like, this one's got a lighthouse and a pier, I think. No, that's just some apartments. Like, there's lighthouses galore in this deck, and that is why I've chosen today in honor of Seaside. I collect these decks of cards when I'm just out places. Like, if I recently, this deck of cards came from a vacation to like the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and the Ghibli one is actually my most recent one. I just got that at Barnes and Noble because I thought it looked nice. But right now I'm shuffling the deck so we can pull our random 4 cards. I usually get somewhere around 30 minutes for the final sprint, and I always hope for a really short one, but have not been successful at that recently. But we'll see. Maybe the cards will listen. Maybe they'll give me a 12-minute sprint to end with. We'll see. It all depends on the random factor. And no, I can't shuffle like the poker way, I guess, like the two-handed way, because my hands are too small, and I also don't really have a table space for it. But anyway, I'm almost ready to pull our 4 cards. So I'm gonna cut the deck. Unfortunate, I just have a 2 behind here. So I will pull 4 cards. You will see them first. If you be so kind to keep the math for me while I pull them, that would be appreciated. Sometimes I can't do that very quickly. Let's see how long we're sprinting for. 2 looks very promising. Ooh, and what a beautiful sunrise over the Atlantic Ocean. Wow, that's a great card. Even if we got all of the 2s in this deck, I wouldn't be mad. Very pretty. And I'll show those again at the end if you want to see. Oh, it's the photo on the back of the cards. Ace. Ooh, it's a 1. It's a 1, everybody. Oh, another beautiful lighthouse. This is the Bodie Island light station, which is kind of weird that like they call lighthouses light stations, but I don't know anything about lighthouse lore. Should I? Because there's a lighthouse in my book? Probably, but I don't. Another. Am I finally getting a short sprint? Here's another 2, everyone. So far, we're up to 5 minutes. Another short sprint. We did it. We got a short sprint for today with another beautiful lighthouse. This is the Cape Hatteras Light Station. Oh, I think they call it light stations because there's also like a house there, like it's the station, not the lighthouse itself. But we have a short sprint. Finally. We finally have a short sprint. Okay, and I'll show the pictures again in case anyone wants to see that. Lovely. So this is what, 8 minutes? 3, 5. Hold on. Can I? Yeah, it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes. What a lovely final sprint. I got my wish. Thank you, cards. It's a good card deck. I should use that one more often. That's not right. Let me go ahead and switch to my timer. Reset that to 8 lovely minutes. Nice final short sprint to end the session with. I hope you all continue to be productive and get that final short burst of work done today. I'm going to be continuing to work on Chapter 3, and after this, we'll say bye. But thank you guys for joining me so far today and writing with me and putting up with my shenanigans. Happy writing, everyone. I will see you in 8 minutes. In 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Was that perfect timing for anyone else? I literally just finished reading the end of chapter 3, and I'm feeling good, feeling better. Um, yeah, that was our end of our final sprint, and I didn't change the banner, but that's okay. I can change it now. um, yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me this afternoon. I host these writing streams every Friday at 1 p.m. unless otherwise notified. And you can find out when my next stream is by looking at my community tab, or you can subscribe and they'll show up in your subscription feed when I make them available. But yeah, here on this channel, I make all types of content about my work in progresses. I'm going to be querying in the nebulous future, but definitely like soon-ish, as soon as one can be while still taking their time with the process. But yeah, that's what I'm up to recently. Also working on Project Faye, a new work in progress. It's a young adult fantasy. Not much work has happened on that yet, but there will be content about that project in the future. Um, yeah, I also have a writing Instagram. I forgot to put it in the description today, but I can put it in the chat right now in case you want to follow me there. You can. But that is pretty much it from me, guys. That's the full pitch. That's all I have to say today. Thank you guys so much for coming. And yeah, there will be another stream like this next Friday, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Oh, wait a second. If anyone has any final remarks to make, final progress reports to report. I did get a lot of progress done today. It was good. It was a good time. Yeah. See you later, Neo. Okay, I think that's my cue. Bye, guys. I'm going to play my outro video and then see y'all next time. Bye.